All right, here is our final page, which the good news is just a front. So let's go over our graphing. So let's see, number 14 is, here are my points I'll be using. And when I square them, I get these numbers. Okay. And I know to use those points because of the squared. And I will have a flip, a left 5, and an up 9. So I will be taking my flip and adjusting all of these y values. They'll all become opposite of what they are. They're going to flip. And I don't need these old y's. So the first point I'm going to graph is 0, 0, and I'm going to move it left 5, up 9. And then from here, we're going to call it X marks the spot. I will be going, let's see, left 2, down 4, left 1, down 1, I'll go right 1, down 1, and I'll go right 2, down 4. And there's my U. All right, on the next one, it is not ready to go. I will have to complete the square. So to do that, I'm going to group these together and pull out a 2. Factor out of 2. Here's my box. I will take that -2, cut it in half for -1, square that, and I get a 1. And then when I do my bunny hop, I will get a 2 here. And let's see. What did I do? I changed this on my answer key now that I'm looking at this. I think I just turned this, let's change this into a -1 instead. Okay, I'm changing the problem, otherwise it's not going to fit on our graph. So real quick, in front of my parentheses is 2. I'm going to have an x something squared, and I'll put a -1 because that's what's in front of this squared. And when I put this together, because I've changed it, I will have a -3. All right, I am ready to graph. I'm going to square those numbers. And I do have a stretch. That's my 2. I will be going right 1 and down 3. So first I'm going to start with my stretch, and I'm going to double all of these numbers. All right, and we're going to start with 0, 0, and I'm going to go right 1, down 3. All right, this is going to be my starting point. X marks the spot. And for my first one, I'm going to go left 2, up 8, and then I'll go left 1, up 2, and then I'll go right 1, up 2, and I'll go right 2, up 8, and then I get a much skinnier stretched V, or U, sorry. All right, last part. Okay, we're going to write the piecewise function. So I will need the slope and the y-intercept for everything. So when I go to this one, I've got some nice points here. Let's make those a different color. And whoops, there we go. I can rise 1, run, rise 1, run 1. So my slope is 1. It is going uphill, so it's positive. If I keep this pattern going, I will see that the y-intercept for this one is 2. So my first one is 1x plus 2. On the second one, there's my y-intercept of -3, and I have no slope, so 0x minus 3, or you can just have -3. And on the last one, I can see that I have another slope of just up 1 over 1. It's still going uphill. If I continue that pattern, I end up again, as it turns out, on a +2. So now I can do 1x plus 2. And now I'm going to figure out where my walls were. So let me clear some of this out here. All right, I got to pause the video for a little while. All right, so I had to take a pause there, but I'm back. So let's finish up this piecewise function on number 16. So the last thing I'm going to do is write those invisible, like walls, boundary lines. All right, there's one and there's one. So this first line that I have in green is to the left of -4. And I just erased that, or covered it up. So there was an open dot there, so I'm going to leave it not underlined. My next one is, I didn't mean to do black here, is in between the -4 and a 1. Oops. The -4 side is closed, so it's underlined, and the other side is not, so I'm going to not underline it. And then my last one here is to the right of 1. It's a closed circle, so I'll underline it, and that is my piecewise function. All right, a few more problems here. On this one, we're going to have 3 equations that we work with. We've got the -x minus 1. We have the -4. And then we have the x minus 5 squared. So based on what's inside our parentheses under the evaluate part, we'll decide what we do. So in this first one, -2 fits in my yellow scenario. Okay. 8, just going to go through all of these, fits in my pink scenario because 8 is bigger than the 4. The -6 fits in my green scenario because -6 is smaller than -2, and 10, let's see, 10 is going to fit in that pink scenario as well. So let's start with the yellow one. The yellow one, no matter what number I use, my answer is going to be -4. In my pink scenario, I need to put the 8 in. When I do that, I'll get 3, and 3 squared is 9 for my final answer. I'll do the same for the one below it. 10 minus 5 is 5, and then 5 squared is 25 for my final answer. And then the other one, I'll have the negative with a -6, subtract 1. That'll turn into a 6, so I get 5 as my final answer. All right, well, that should be 19. 18 and 20 are the same type of problem in the beginning. This is absolute value, and we are going to get x alone. So I'm going to add the 7 first, then I'll divide by the 4, which leaves me with 4, and then I'm going to remember that I'll make 2 problems, one with 4 and one with -4. So in the one on the left, once I add the 4, I get 7, and when I add 3 on the other side, I get a -1. And this problem is done because I start with an equal sign. Now, in the inequality one, we'll have to check to see where the alligator is happy. But the first, I'm going to start by subtracting 7. Then I'm going to divide by -3, which leaves me with a 2. And then I'll do x plus 5 with 2 and x plus 5 with -2. So when I subtract 5 for the left one, I get a -3. And on the other one, I get a -7. So what we need to remember is that this is a v, but it is flipped. And that I have a flat line that is going to be represented by the 1. Okay. And my inequality sign says above. So I want to go for the portion of my v that is above my line. So before I do that, this is -7, this is -3, and here's above. And so my answer in interval notation will be from -7 to -3, all parentheses, because this is not underlined. And that is, I believe, the last of the review. So that's it. Remember, the pink review and the blue review are due the day of your test, not after. It will not be accepted late.